Hey guys, my name's Adam, your friendly Sasquatch, and today we're doing a quick video review of the MH12 Pro made by NiteCore. Now NiteCore has been nice enough to send this light to me, but I'm really excited to do this review. I've been eyeing it for a little bit here, and it just seems like the next step up in the generations of LED high performance light. So let's go ahead and unbox this thing and see what comes in the box. Take a quick look at the size and weight, the features this light has to offer, the battery inside and how long it takes to charge. We'll follow this up with a quick user's guide on how to use the light and all of its various functions, and then we'll take it outside and do some beam shots so you can see just how powerful this light really is. Then we'll wrap this video up with who I think this light is going to be a perfect fit for. So without further ado, let's go ahead and crack this thing open. All right, and there you have it, the NiteCore MH12 Pro. Let's go ahead and pull out all the accessories so you can see what you get when you order one of these. You get a really nice nylon holster. Feels like a little bit heavier material than some of the previous holsters I've seen out of NiteCore. Has a Velcro attach method that the light will just, slip right in. The Velcro will securely attach it. The sides are elastic, so it will take different size flashlights. If you want to use this for another light, that's perfectly fine. But it's a nice fitting holster. It feels like it's the correct size. On the back you have a plastic D-ring, which is great for attaching to packs, things like that. You have a nice large belt loop for attaching to your belt, your backpack strap, whatever you might want to attach this to. And that is also adjustable with the Velcro strap. So if you want to attach it to something really large, not a problem. So overall, I'd say this is a very nice nylon holster for the light. Let's see what else comes in the box. You get a USB-A to USB-C charging cable. Always great to see that included. A lanyard to attach to your light if that's your thing. A pocket clip. I really like this pocket clip. It's a double-sided pocket clip, meaning you can use it for tip-up or tip-down carry. We'll attach that to the light in a little bit. A rubber O-ring in case you tear the one that's on the light yourself. I've never had an issue with mine, but it's nice that they include it. It doesn't cost that much for them to do, and if you do tear an O-ring, it's something that's going to be a little bit harder for you to find as a consumer. Again, that's one of the things I really like about NiteCore. They make sure everything's included. That way you don't run into any issues with your new purchase. Also included is an instruction manual and safety guide, which you won't need because you're watching this video. You'll know everything there is to know about this flashlight. For this review, we're going to put the pocket clip on just to keep the light from rolling around. I think it comes in super handy, so that's what we're going to show you first. You can see near the head of the flashlight, there's a nice flat groove. Just put the spring of the pocket clip to that flat groove. Push in, and the pocket clip locks right into place. So super easy attach method for a pocket clip, and that keeps your flashlight from rolling away from you. Okay, so that's everything that comes in the box. Let's take a quick look at the size and weight of this particular light. This light is 5.45 inches long, or 138.5 millimeters. The head of this light is 1.06 inches in diameter, or 26.8 millimeters. And then the overall weight of this light is 2.89 ounces, or 82 grams, which is really good. Overall, this is a very EDC sizable flashlight. You can see it fitting in my hand. I wear a size large glove, and it just pokes out a little bit on either end, which is really kind of perfect for if you're trying to use the tail switch or anything like that. You got plenty of real estate on here for your hand to fit comfortably, but it's not so big that it feels like it's a brick in your pocket. One thing I want to point out before we get going in the review here, you notice the light does not work out of the box. The reason for that is there's a piece of plastic covering the battery to keep it safe for shipping. You don't want the light turning on during shipping. So just remove the plastic from the back door of the battery. While we have this open, I want to show you these are square threads, they're not the sharp threads, so they do tend to seal a little bit better and last longer. So that was the size and weight. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at some of the features that this particular light offers over some of its competition. First, I want to take a quick look at the end of the light here. You can see the new UHI 40 LED, which is super impressive. It puts out 3,300 lumens. NiteCore had some lights in the past with 3,300 lumens, but they typically have 3 or 4 LEDs on the inside there. This one just has one, which is super impressive. I mean, that's just that's a threefold in LED output, so I'm really excited to see how much further NiteCore can push this in the future. But yeah, just one LED in this little guy, and it's able to push 3,300 lumens. Just above the LED there, you can see a little hole. That's the proximity sensor, which we'll show you how it works later. The reflector itself is relatively shallow, and you should see this in the outdoor beam shots we do later, but that's going to provide a very floody and full beam. It's not going to have a real tight hot spot. So I think this is going to be a really good all-around EDC tool for many people. You know, it's going to have a lot of reach because of just the sheer power of having 3,300 lumens, but it's also going to be a nice floody beam, so it's going to cover a lot of area in your immediate proximity. So a very nice reflector and LED in there. You do have some knurling on the front edge there. It's not very deep, but it's relatively narrow. So as a defensive light, it's not as aggressive as some other lights I've seen on NiteCore, but it definitely will do the trick. Now moving down from the head of the flashlight, we have the side button. I really like it. It has a battery power indicator and a light output indicator. So that's an upgrade from the previous models. You can visually see what mode you're in and how much runtime you have left. So that's super nice. Pushing the side button does not turn the light on, which is kind of nice in a way. You don't have to worry about inadvertently turning it on in your bag. To turn the light on, you use the tail cap. And then the side button is how you get into the different modes, which we'll go over a little bit later. We covered the pocket clip already. Just clips on and off the body of the light. It's a double-sided pocket clip, so you can go tip up or tip down carry, depending on what your preference is. And then one of the new features of this particular light is they have a new kind of knurling on here, which I really like. It's kind of got ring cuts all around it, and then they have a spiral kind of diagonal cut. And it looks really nice, and it's a lot deeper than a lot of NiteCore's previous knurling. So previously, they kind of had like a knurling that was similar to a weight bar, which was very, serviceable. But I really like this deep knurling. It doesn't cut into your hand, and I think it's going to work great with gloves or if the light is really wet. Having those deeper knurlings is really going to work well in more adverse conditions. So A+ there. Moving to the back of the light, this is the tail cap. One thing I like is they have recessed it from the outer ring, which is also how you attach like the lanyard and stuff. But so what's nice about that is the light will stand upright with that flat back, which can come in handy sometimes. I really do like the tail clip on this. It has a nice textured rubber finish on it. It works with both momentary and full on. It has a really nice snicky feel. It's not super mushy or anything like that. It's very positive. You know when it clicks. So if your fingers are cold or something like that, you're not going to have any issues with operating this switch. It's got a pretty long, deep throw to it, which works great for momentary on, momentary off. You're not going to accidentally permanently turn it on if you're just trying to quickly check something. So overall, A+ on the tail cap. Go ahead and pull the tail cap off. We'll take a quick look at the battery inside. This is a 5,300 milliamp hour battery, which is a little bit more than the 5,000 milliamp batteries that shipped with it previously. And looking straight down the barrel there, you can see the connector all the way in the bottom there. Something else I want to point out is in the tail cap, it looks like a hard button, but there is a spring behind it, which is great. That means if this light gets hit hard, something like that, the light is not going to flicker, it's going to maintain contact. As I pointed out earlier, you do have square threads on this light, which means this light is less likely to be stripped out or damaged when putting the tail cap on and off multiple times. That being said, this light does come with a built-in USB-C charging port, which means you won't have to take off the tail cap very often to get to the battery. To get to the USB-C charging port, it's just under the head. You pull back on the hard plastic cover. It does have kind of a rubberized coating on the bottom side to make sure it's watertight. And then you can see there's the standard USB-C charging port. So we'll charge this up before we take it outside for the outdoor testing, but super convenient, super easy. One thing I do like about this over maybe a magnetic charger that goes on the back is there's no proprietary connections. If you have a USB-C cable, you can charge this light anywhere you go. Along with this light having some really nice knurling on it, there's just a few other just kind of general notes I want to say about this. First, it's made of aerospace grade aluminum, which all of NiteCore's lights basically are, which I really like. Just gives you the assurance that this is going to be a quality product that lasts a long, long time. I've never had one of these metal flashlights fail on me, and I don't think I ever will. The machining on this is super high quality. I'm not seeing a lot of machine marks anywhere on this. There's no sharp edges. Everything's been properly smoothed off and beveled, and everything you expect from a high quality NiteCore product such as this. The anodizing is super high quality. I'm not seeing any uneven spots or chipping or flaking or anything like that. I've seen low quality anodized finishes before, and you can always tell when it wasn't done right. In addition to high quality machining and materials and everything like that, it's been drop tested to 1 meter multiple times, and it's guaranteed to work every time. It is IP68 waterproof rating, which means you can go down to 2 meters for at least 30 minutes. So again, for an everyday carry light, that's gonna be plenty. You drop in that puddle, you drop in the sink, drop it in a tub of oil working on the car, whatever, this light is gonna be just fine. As far as charging this light goes, NiteCore says this will take 3.5 hours to charge from a completely dead state. I have it plugged in right now. There are 4 LED lights here, each one representing 25% state of charge. You can see here the third LED light is blinking, meaning that it's working on charging between 50 and 75% state of charge. When you're all done charging, just pull the USB-C cable off and cover the port to ensure that the light stays waterproof for your everyday use. Okay, so that's the kind of quick overview of the features and charging functions of this light. Let's go ahead and take a look at how you actually use this and how you enter all the different modes that are available. So first we're going to go over the standard modes, then we'll go into the special modes. So like I said earlier, you cannot turn the light on using the side button. You have to use the tail cap. And then the side button or the mode button will let you cycle through the different brightness settings. So here's the low mode, which is 50 lumens, which will last for 50 hours, which is really good. Clicking the mode button once, we are now in the medium mode, which is 300 lumens, which will last 8.5 hours. Pressing the side button again, we are now at 1,200 lumens, and this will last for 4.5 hours. And that's super impressive. 1,200 lumens for 4.5 hours. I mean, that's just super good. So really impressed with that. But wait, there's more, as they say. We're now in the turbo mode. And this is the 3,300 lumens, and NiteCore says this will run up to 30 minutes of runtime. It will overheat before it hits 30 minutes, and you will get 3 minutes of continuous running before it starts stepping down to protect the flashlight from overheating, damaging the LED, or damaging the battery inside the tube here. That being said, if you turn it on and go to a lower setting, and then do the turbo mode later, and intermittent use, you will get 30 minutes of turbo mode use, which is really good. I mean, the turbo mode, the camera's going to be adjusting a bit here, but once I get outside, you'll really see just how powerful that turbo mode is. So those are all your standard modes. Let's go ahead and talk about how we get into the special modes. So to get to the ultra low mode, you press and hold the side button and then hit the end tail cap, and that will turn on moonlight mode. You can see there's just a teeny bit of light coming out of there. There's 1 lumens, but it will last for 600 hours. So it's like a month of runtime, basically. So super cool, great for reading maps or just checking stuff in the glove box when you don't want to blow your night vision when you're out doing stuff outside and whatnot. So really nice setting. I like the ultra low mode. Hitting the side button, you get into the standard modes, low, medium, high, turbo, and then low. So you don't get into the ultra low mode unless you hold the side button and press the end cap while it is off. So that's ultra low mode. Let's go ahead and talk about the other special modes. One other thing that I would like to note before we go into special modes is that this does have mode memory. So let's say I'm in the high mode, I turn the light off, turn it back on, it comes back on in high mode. Let's say I'm in low mode, turn the light off, when I turn it back on, it will still be in low mode. So the ultra low mode cannot be saved to memory, and the special modes cannot be saved to memory, except for strobe. So as far as getting into special modes, you hit the tail cap to turn the light on, and then you press and hold the mode button. It'll start with strobe, and then it'll go to beacon, and then it'll go to SOS mode. You just release the mode button in whatever mode that you want to leave it in, and then if you need to switch to a different special mode, turn the light off, turn it back on, and press and hold the side button until you're in the mode that you want to be. This is strobe, and again, it will stay in that mode until you turn the light off. Now strobe mode is in memory, so if you turn the light off, turn it back on, it will still be in strobe mode. That's the only special mode that will be saved to memory. Let's go ahead and talk about the proximity mode that is used when you're in high or turbo mode. This is a safety feature to make sure that the front of the light doesn't get too close to anything flammable and start a fire or melt polyesters, things like that. This is an issue they ran into when they first started coming out with high performance lights, and this is their solution. So we'll turn the light on. It's currently in turbo mode, and as you see, as I bring it closer to my hand, it's going to step down, preventing my, in this case, hand from being burnt. Then when you remove it, it steps back up into the turbo mode. So to turn off the proximity mode, all you do is bring it close to an object so it steps down, then press the side button, and that kicks it back up into high mode, as you see. So as I back away, you'll see it doesn't need to step up anymore. So that stays on for as long as the light is on. Once you turn the light off, the proximity mode gets turned back on. So as you can see, as I bring the light closer to my hand, it gets stepped down again, and as I back it away, it steps back up. And just like before, to turn off proximity mode, you hit that low mode button. So pretty simple. I like it. It's pretty intuitive, and once you get the hang of it, it's not a big deal. The final thing I want to talk about is how you put this light into tactical mode. What tactical mode does is your light will always come on into the turbo mode first, and the only special mode available is the strobe mode. There's no SOS or beacon mode. If you're using this in a tactical situation, this may make sense for you. Okay, so to get into the tactical mode, all you have to do is hold the mode button and press and hold the tail cap down. You'll see the light blinks twice, letting you know that you're in tactical mode. What this does is when you turn the light on, you will always come on into turbo mode first. Now you can still use the mode button to cycle through the other modes, but there's no memory anymore. It's always just going to come on maximum turbo mode. This could be nice if you're a security officer or something like that, and you don't want to fumble with the switch. You always want it in the brightest setting possible. The other difference with tactical mode is you don't have the SOS or beacon mode. So when the light is on and you press and hold the mode button, it immediately goes into strobe mode, but if you keep holding the mode button, it will not go into the SOS or beacon modes. This again could be useful in a security type situation where you don't want to inadvertently turn on the beacon or SOS mode, you want the strobe mode to stay on. To get out of strobe mode, just hit the mode button and you immediately come back into the turbo mode. To get out of the tactical mode, when the light is off, press and hold the mode button and the tail cap until the light blinks once, letting you know you're back in the standard user mode. Okay, so to lock this light out, all you have to do is just twist the tail cap and the light will no longer work. You twist the tail cap back on and the light works fine. There is no button combination that locks this light out electronically, which is actually a good thing. I've inadvertently turned some lights on with their button sequence lockout mode, and if you don't know what the lockout mode sequence is, it's really hard to unlock your light, which can be super inconvenient. So I like this NiteCore. You just twist it a half turn, light doesn't work anymore. Twist it a half turn, light works just like normal. So super simple, super intuitive. Okay, so that's all the details. Let's go ahead and take this thing outside and take a look at how it looks in the real world. Okay guys, we are in the testing area, aka my backyard. I do this test the same way every time. That way if you want to compare different lights against each other, you can just go to my other reviews and see how the lights that you're interested in stacked up in this test. To start this test, we're going to put the MH12 Pro into the 1 lumen ultra low mode. There's the ultra low 1 lumens mode. You probably can't see it out there, but if I put my hand in front of the camera, you should be able to see my hand. Like I said, it's good for reading maps or maybe just real up close looking in a drawer type thing like that. The main goal of this is to not burn out your night vision. Next up, we have the 50 lumens mode, which is low. And remember, this is the one that lasts for 50 hours. I can easily see the ground right in front of me here. And then the pots there, which are about 50, 60 feet away, I can easily see each one individually. It's a very even beam, a very floody beam. There's not really a really tight hotspot here. But as we step up in power, I think the power is going to really just flood the whole area, which is exactly what we want from an EDC light. Stepping up to the medium mode, this is 300 lumens. And as you can see, this is easily reaching out the 50, 60 feet to my pots out there. The kind of soft hotspot is about 6 feet tall. It's covering the entire wall vertically. And as I move it side to side, you can see it's covering a good amount of area. It's a relatively white light. It's got a little bit of yellow in it, but it's a pretty clean white light, at least to the natural eye. We'll see how it looks coming through the camera. But I would say it's 300 lumens mode, which lasts for 8.5 hours, would be plenty serviceable for day-to-day use. Stepping up the lumens mode to 1,200 lumens. Now this is truly impressive, guys. This is extremely bright. Up close is almost too bright. It's just like blinding looking at the ground right in front of me. And out further out, I mean, again, 50, 60 feet, this, if you're in a parking lot or something like that, I mean, this would just flood the whole area, a parking garage. Nobody would be able to hide from you with this much light. This would also be a good light for going on your back porch. If you hear a noise at night and you need to check your yard for an animal or something, this would be plenty powerful enough. Stepping up to the 3,300 lumens. It's just completely blinding. Even at 50, 60 feet, this is incredibly bright. Like I said in the review, like I said earlier, the 3,300 lumens mode goes out to 502 yards. It's just tremendously bright. I mean, it's almost too bright. So for this area, my backyard, it's probably too small of an area to be testing this with. Like you can see the houses, you can see several houses down there. Incredibly bright. Now, NiteCore says this will last for 3 minutes continuous or up to 30 minutes of intermittent use. So pretty good run times from such a small package. Now finally we're going to go to strobe mode, so caution. Here's the strobe mode, and just like every strobe mode I test, it's extremely bright. It's at the full 3,300 lumens, and that would be incredibly disorienting if you had to use that on somebody. So strobe mode is certainly super bright. Again, here's the high mode at 1,200 lumens. I think this is probably the most balanced mode. It's still incredibly bright, but you're still going to be getting the 3 hours and 30 minutes of runtime. Again, if you're outside, you're trying to reach out a couple hundred feet, this will be plenty of light. Anyways, that wraps up the outside testing. Let's go ahead and take this thing back inside and wrap up this review. All right, so there you have it. That's what all the beam color and beam throws and stuff look like in the different modes. A super bright, super powerful light. I'm super impressed with this thing. For the size of this, you really can't go wrong. 3,300 lumens is no joke. The fact that it's rechargeable is super nice. Drop resistant, it's waterproof. The machining on it is just top notch. I really like the knurling. It's something a little bit different that I haven't seen before. It's all aluminum. It's just a really good all-around light. It comes with a holster, the charging cable, the battery. It's everything you need to have a super nice EDC carrier light. I highly recommend it for anyone who's an EDC person, maybe even a security officer. I know it doesn't have like the big spikes on the front, but the size and weight is really compelling for the amount of power you get. Anyone who's camping, anyone who goes hiking a lot, frankly, the run times are really good on this. As long as you charge it up the night before, it should run pretty much all day long as long as you're not in turbo mode the entire time. If you're in the high mode, turning it on and off as needed, I mean, so highly recommend this light. It's honestly the best EDC light I've seen come across in this size category. They make lights that are a little bit bigger, that are brighter, but the run times aren't as good as this. And for the size, you can't touch this. A 3,300 lumens light in this size configuration with these run times, you simply can't beat this light at this time. I highly recommend it. I hope you found this video review helpful. If you did, make sure to hit that like button below. It helps the channel out a lot. And don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell icon so you're the first to be notified when I release new videos just like this one. Cheers!